following message is being transmitted at the request of the Boundless PodTrap movie review and the guys of the BPT. What you are about to hear contains spoilers to movies. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, please disengage your listening device at this time. If you can't handle those with a possible differing view on a movie, you may also want to disengage your listening device at this time. Stay tuned for a movie review that only the guys at the Boundless PodTrap can give you.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
What up, biatches?
You don't say that.
You don't say that. Welcome back to the Boundless PodTrap's movie review podcast. I'm John Marshall. We have Justin Milani.
Yo.
We have Lonnie sitting over there. Where is the guy next to you?
Oh, he's
Slacker.
He's enjoying his birthday off.
Today's his birthday. So, happy birthday. Do we sing him
Happy
a song?
birthday!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! No,
You can't get honest because we did say it. Today is your birthday.
Well, I
upon the
send him a
release
text
of this,
every year of the exact same thing.
I send him a nude.
I just send him like a small piece of a headstone, so when he actually gets closer to death, it'll form the whole thing.
I
Yeah.
actually like that. Like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, it's like an advent calendar of his death.
Nice.
With no candy. Unless you put candy.
The candy's for us.
Oh, yeah. So, how you guys been?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
Lonnie,
Staying
it's good to have
busy.
you back in the studio
Yeah,
and not choppy.
yeah.
Your audio is so much better
I
right
would
now.
say sorry, but I'm really not. I had a fucking great time being off.
It was better when you switched to your phone, but
Not much though.
No,
like you
I
could
mean-
hear me, but I couldn't hear you. I listened to that episode. It was fucking garbage. But the movie was fucking garbage. So
The movie was
I
awesome.
didn't miss much.
We actually had a review from...
you only heard every third word, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't much better here than the other two.
I do have a movie review from that last one. We got Lemonhead, our one race. He says,
Is
greetings,
he from
fellas.
the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones?
Yes. We'll go with
Mighty
it.
Morphin Boss Tones?
He says, for Prey, I guess more of a segment, but also with Prey. Greetings, fellas. To Catch a Predator was an excellent episode. I thought I was up on my Predator, the Yautja, but Justin enlightened me to a lot. Makes me want to go back and rewatch them all. Thanks for the entertaining. Love you guys. Keep ascending. Justin is the best.
I don't think it said that last part.
Oh man,
I think that comes up on your computer. Like that's a sticky note.
it's my affirmations.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah,
look
your
at myself and be
daily-
like, I am the
Daily
best.
pep talk.
I
Yeah.
am a strong and beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I do not need a man to run my life.
Yeah. While you guys were doing that, I was in Chicago seeing
Chicago?
the Misfits.
Ah.
Is that why you're wearing that shirt today?
No,
Just a
it was
reminder?
on top of the laundry.
Fair enough.
But
I recently got exposed to a band called the Smithfits. Are you familiar with them?
I know.
They do
Excuse me?
a mash of the Smiths and the Misfits. It
That-
sounds pretty
That would be
cool.
fun. Yeah, I've heard of the Misfats, where they do like Misfits covers, but they turn them into like fat shaming. It's very funny being
Interesting.
a portly man, but I can see how it would be offensive. But while I was in Chicago, I met a couple of guys who have a podcast called The Horror Show. Super amazing.
Horror?
The Horror.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
They
Just wanna
don't
clarify.
They don't need the plug from our like 17 listeners, but it is a fucking-tastic podcast. I love it.
Hey, we're
I've
up
been
to
a fan of
18.
it for years, but it's funny as fuck.
Interesting. Do we want to move this into the movie part?
Sure.
Save all this other stuff for next week when we open that. We
Yeah.
just wanted to say happy birthday to Jeremy first off. 'cause
Happy
we're not gonna-
birthday!
But he
Don't
is
save his face.
legitimately not here.
No, he's not
He's
here.
not in the studio tonight.
He will be with us for the main podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, pimping is not easy.
A Halloween themed main podcast.
Yeah, and that's a thing I do have to
One
say.
of his hoes is giving him lips. So
At the beginning,
Does it work if you do it?
it doesn't work when I do it.
At the beginning of this podcast, I do have to say, John, how dare you on the go home episode of the Halloween, you did not pick a scary movie is beyond me. I would have thrown more of a fit, but I didn't know. I literally could not hear what movie you picked.
I didn't
last
really
episode.
think about it until, like last week. I was like, man, I probably should have picked.
When you,
I wanted to do it, but we know how that's gonna go.
it would have been fine. He's not even fucking here.
That's a good point. That's a valid point, actually.
But I legitimately did
This would
not
have been
know.
the first BPT rating of 10.
I legitimately not know what we were watching until I listened to the episode because I was too embarrassed to say, what was that? When you announced what we were
I like how I
listening.
put it in our group message, and then you asked again 2 sentences
That was
later.
that was me being a smart ass.
I was like, I
think he's just
specifically
saying that.
did this message to remind everybody what movie it was. So, speaking of movie reviews, the movie we're going to review today is 2016's The Nice Guys.
Nice.
Nice. Guys.
Nice.
So let me go get me. I totally had the synopsis pulled up, and then I got distracted by other things.
The Internet Movie Database says, in 1970s Los Angeles, a mismatched pair of private eyes investigate a missing girl and a mysterious death of a porn star.
Basically.
Nice.
So, written and directed by Shane Black. For those who are not familiar with Shane Black, it actually ties into our last movie review because he didn't necessarily direct Prey or write Prey, but he did write 2017's Predator movie, which was
A handoff. A hand job.
He's also responsible for Iron Man 3. He's also the writer for Lethal Weapon. He basically created the characters for Lethal Weapon. So when I saw that he was attached to this, director-wise, he's kind of 50-50 for me, But writing-wise, he does pretty good characters. Plus, I'm on board. It's starring Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. To be honest, I'm not the biggest Russell Crowe fan in the world.
No.
He's hit or miss.
Yeah, he's definitely hit or miss. But I really enjoyed him in this movie. Lonnie, since we can hear you this time, do you want to start off with your rating?
Yeah.
And then we'll get into it.
And I'm gonna put this out there. I am not a fan of action movies, and I've said this numerous times throughout the years. So I went in with the perception that I wasn't gonna like this movie, but I think this movie was more comedy than action. Like the last third of this movie was very action based.
Well, you didn't really hear it during the last podcast, but I go, do you want an action comedy or do you want an action drama?
No, I heard that, and I was screaming, "No action comedy!" But
I think he said comedy, and we're like, yeah.
we couldn't
which
hear
one?
what he was saying. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Yeah, he did say comedy, and we're like, did it cut out? And he's just saying comedy.
no, I was just saying, yeah. But so the first 2 stanzas of this movie I thought were super funny. And they weren't like slapstick in your face humor. They were just like little nuggets of humor. I didn't think Ryan Gosling was that funny. He had little things that weren't like over the top humorous, but they were just perfectly timed, funny little bits.
You didn't like his humor in Hercules? Young Hercules?
No, I didn't. The fact that he was in Young Hercules was funny to me.
What about Crazy Stupid Love?
Never seen it.
Oh my God, that's going to be my next movie.
Notebook?
Great movie.
What do you want from me?
Anyway.
But his dynamic with Russell Crowe, like the kind of high key and the kind of low vibe they had together was great. The fact that he was able to raise a daughter was amazing, I think, of a task on its own. Him playing like a scumball 70s guy with his like squeaky clean attitude persona, I think was such a off pace of his norm, was kind of great. The movie had some flaws in my mind, but like I said, I don't like action movies, so I was kind of not really digging it. But all in all, I thought it was better than bad, so I'd give it a 7.
Justin, how about you?
Yeah, I watched this, 4 weeks ago? Pretty much the week after last gathering or
Somebody
so.
has time.
I know. I usually try to get these out of the way, and I feel like I should have had a second watch. Thing is like when it comes to like writers of movies, it's only recently in like the last 5, maybe 10 years that I kind of get more into like the writer aspect. I'm like, that's who did that. So placing Shane Black into like a box or whatever, like, oh, he's responsible for all this and this.
Yeah.
I feel like the writing is very different than a lot of the other stuff that he's done, especially like with Predator. He does have a way of like a call and response or so, like having something build and build, maybe a little bit of misdirection and then top it off. It's like, whoa. So he continues the anticipation a little bit. Like you're not necessarily getting directly to the point. And sometimes you are, and it's kind of an unexpected. I really like his writing. I didn't realize how much of a fan of his I am.
He also had a co-writer on this, Anthony Bagarazzi, yeah, whatever. That's his actual first writing credit. So I don't know how much influence he had in the script itself, but I know Shane Black's was pretty evident. But I compare it to like the Lethal Weapon,
right?
Obviously, characters,
and I love a lot of the Lethal Weapon stuff, or even like the stuff that comes from or off of Lethal Weapon, Naked Gun, or stuff like that. But to go back into what the time period is, what was it like?
The 70s, yeah.
And fascinating little setting. It makes you feel like it's there. The color grading of this, I feel, there's a sense of vibrancy and blandness at the same time to kind of like fit the feel. I love that part.
Yeah, I feel like that's just the 70s in general. Like there's like color, but there's also bland.
Right.
A lot of browns and tans
Ryan and Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I feel like they played off well with each other. Again, I'm also not like a big Russell Crowe fan, and I also wasn't a big Ryan Gosling. I'm not a diehard Gosling fan, but I do appreciate his work. Like he does some amazing work. I am like a Gladiator fan, so I do like Russell Crowe more so. Gladiator. I don't know why I said it like that, but
I know.
I'll just take a win with that. His daughter definitely steals the movie.
Yeah, she's
I would
great.
say.
Yeah.
Great chops for her. Yeah. There's more I could say to that, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but this is just the rating part.
Yeah. I will have to give it, because I like action, I was satiated with the amount of action that this has, even though it's kind of light. Some of the action is more like playing off of each other violently, and I thought that was pretty fun. Some of the usage of the elements around, like I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan, and the stuff that he thinks of on the spot, like he uses his environment to his ability. The way that Russell Crowe was able to do such, and Ryan Gosling even, and some of like
that hot tub fight.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool,
right? Or even the gun, the shootout inside his office.
Oh yeah.
I really liked a lot of that. I'm like, whoa, look at Russell Crowe do like front flips and stuff. Even though it wasn't.
I like when he dove through the window and he hits the table when he comes in.
But yeah, all together, I would have to give it an 8.5.
Oh, nice. That's a high rating for you.
I know.
So the reason I wanted to bring up this movie is I am a big fan of Ryan Gosling, but I'm also not a huge fan of Russell Crowe. Hit or miss with me. So I thought that was a nice mix. It was like one of my favorite actors, one of my non-favorite actors. This also came out around the same time as Inherent Vice. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No.
With Joaquin Phoenix and Josh Brolin. It's similar concept. It's
the one who was in Gladiator?
Yes. So it's also in the 1970s. It's about a private investigator investigating the missing ex-girlfriend kind of thing. So like I just saw Inherent Vice, loved it, and I was like, okay, is this going to be similar? But it wasn't. This one's more geared toward the comedy side, which I really enjoyed. I don't know. There's some quotes in there we'll get into later, but basically all that you said too, like the 70s vibe to it, the comedy, like Lonnie said, like Ryan Gosling's comedy was just enough to be, almost perfect, but not perfect. It was like it worked for each scene in itself, and
like he almost was too much,
right?
But like it was just there.
Yeah,
his mannerisms is what sold me.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And this is totally different than a Ryan Gosling characters in most of his movies. Most of the time he's the badass and the suave, sophisticated. What I mean? And this one he's
a
kind of just a bumbling idiot. Yeah,
he's a klutz.
And I just love that about him. So I am going to give this the same as Justin, an 8.5 as well. It was high up there. It made my top 25 movies of 2010s on the list.
That gives us
number 17.
Yeah, that gives us the BPT rating of 8.
You guys want to see my dick? Nobody wants to see your dick, dude.
$20? $20? I already gave you $20.
Wait, what am I saying?
There's horse and stuff. Don't say and stuff.
Don't say it's stuff.
Just say there's horse.
There's horse. That was a running joke in that movie, and it was at the right time.
He did butt stuff and stuff. Sweet
Anal and stuff.
don't
Just
say
say anal.
Just say anal.
I think that was one of my favorite lines.
You know who else was following orders? Adolf Hitler. All right. Anyway, what was we'll do
The standout scene.
Yeah. What was your favorite scene in
My
this movie?
standout scene is the bathroom part where Ryan Gosling is on the toilet, and especially what I'm saying, like going with like the mannerisms and stuff like that. He's so. I feel like I don't know. Is it orchestrated? Is it like choreographed or so? Like him trying to open the door and like pull up his pants and hide his junk at the same time. Like there's so many.
Drops a cigarette in his underwear.
It's like he's such a klutz with everything, and like how serious he is for it, or even like when he's getting the shit. I love that game. You know, like getting his face punched in.
Yeah.
You know, at the very beginning, the first
He
introduction.
breaks his arm. All right, now this is gonna hurt. You just sold out your client like that. I like how he's also like, so he's a bumbling idiot, but he's kind of a skis too, because he's
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know,
But he's
I'll charge
honest.
you this much, and then you wait a couple days, and we're like, I'm on to something, but it's gonna take this much more money, you know. And Russell Crowe's character's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? And I like how he always fell off things.
Yeah.
Like when he fell down the hill or like fell off the hotel, he's like, maybe that's my thing. I think I'm invincible. Super funny though. What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is when Russell Crowe finds him at the bar. He's like, "Why are you wet? I had to interview the mermaids. What were you doing while I was working?"
I think that whole at that party is probably one of my favorite scenes. There's just so much going on. Like the van hits that dude at the end. You know, it's just blue face as they kept calling him.
Some of my best or my favorite movies are the ones that have so much stuff going on in the background. Where
Yes,
if you
right.
watch it again and you have to catch it, it's like it's a new experience for you. It's
Yeah.
like, holy shit, they were doing that the whole time. I didn't even catch that. So
Right.
yeah, him in the fish tank while other stuff is happening on the foreground, you know, and he's trying to chase the mermaid. It's like, what are you going to hear? Like, how are you going to?
Or in the background, like when Russell Crowe set that drink on that lady, thinking it was a table or whatever.
It was
Like
a bud,
another guy
yeah.
does that later in the background. He's like, oh yeah. Did you know this was actually supposed to be a TV series? But they retooled it to a film because the plot was basically going nowhere, they said. So, I mean, I feel like at the end, it kind of, you're like, I feel like Shane started this, you know? And then he got to a certain point and he's like, I didn't write an ending for this movie. And so then you have, what's her face?
Misty?
Kim
Margaret?
Basinger.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
mom, basically. Amelia's mom. Just like be this super shitty person out of nowhere. I felt like that
It
was
was kind of a
of
MacGuffin.
Right, 100%. And I think that's like they didn't have an ending, so they kind of fit her in to be the MacGuffin
Yeah,
to kind
it
of
was-
further the plot.
I think it was kind of one of those like, let's make a quick jab at the government that
Right.
they're bad.
You got to throw a little politic jab in
Yeah.
there, you know, in the you know Ford, the car companies back
Right.
in the 70s. You know, Detroit killed my daughter.
That was kind of like a throwback to L.A. Confidential, if you guys were familiar with that one, because Russell Crowe was also in that one with Kim Basinger, and like he went up to interview her at the diner, and she says a line in there like, "You're the diner guy," and that's
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
I mentioned this before we got started. Like, what type of magazine do I have to read to make a fucking hot girl drive through my house and then die naked in my backyard?
Topless.
Topless.
Why
yeah.
was she topless?
Completely naked.
Yeah,
no,
I
like
was
that
why
dress
is she in the car?
blew the fuck up.
I like, well, yeah, and the way that she lands on this rock or so is pretty much exact to her
like,
centerfold.
erotically spread out like a slutty chicken, and
It was good.
Slutty chicken.
But like, so the movie starts off. The little boy has to go into his parents' room to grab the one magazine that's underneath the parents' bed. I'm like, who?
Cavalier.
It's Dad's magazine, you know.
Yeah, my dad always had magazines like in the bathroom underneath the towels or in the attic, you know, in some boxes in the.
My
little
dad had
cheap
'em under the
apartment. He had them in the basement. There was porn all over my house. There probably still is. I think he
Underneath the
Taped under
in
the
toilet
coffee
tank,
table,
yeah.
the house that I grew up on.
behind the Bisquick.
above the light in the garage.
It used to be
Bisquick.
like a World War II house or something like that. Like I guess soldiers used to live there at one point. Just say jerk off.
Yeah, I did.
They had like one of those.
Pulled out the fourth encyclopedia.
What are those? What is those things?
there.
Like
Nobody reads V.
the kitchen little thing where you can like trolley up
the
like
dumbwaiter?
Dumbwaiter. thank
Dumbwaiter.
you. I'm like there was magazines in there. I'm
one
like,
of those.
taped on the bottom of the dumbwaiter.
And the top.
But the back of the dumbwaiter, that's where the good shit was.
Don't let it fall. Then all the magazines fall. It's like, it's a fucking, confetti of porn everywhere. This is my problem, I think. I get it now.
It's a carpal tunnel. I know where it came from.
These episodes are very therapeutic for me, so thank you.
What else do you need to
I
get off
usually
your
have to pay $75 for this.
All it took was watching the nice guys in a porno being found in a... That's when I knew. So the opening scene is when I knew, like, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a different movie. A car crashes with a hot, naked chick. And,
Right.
and I was like, okay. I didn't really know what to expect going into this, but I was definitely pleasantly surprised.
Right.
My thing is, it's like the car goes through. The boy ends up going all the way outside, but the parents, like, they never
where
woke
were
up.
they?
How
Like,
fucking heavy of a sleeper are you?
Right?
And two,
It was
like,
Benadryl.
how bad do you want to see a lady naked to be willing to go out to an on-fire car? Like, the gas tank is
I don't
on
know.
fire.
I'd be pretty
it's like,
curious,
tits
too,
are
honestly.
explosion.
Tits
Well, it is
and
fire.
explosions.
It's like, it's worth it.
explosions, you should follow the tits.
Tits and explosions. That's like a Michael Bay movie.
He only covered up the breast, though. I don't left her face uncovered. Well, did he cover the boob? Face.
Why that was so funny to me.
He threw his shirt over her face, left her boobs uncovered.
What about her vagina? That was actually nice timing on that. What about her snatch? though?
God damn it.
I think you might have still got it.
The effects aren't coming in on my phone, so.
That needs to air out.
Anyways, equanimity. The quality of being calm and even-tempered.
Isn't that the word you
Composure.
learned in the movie?
Yes.
His like word of the day calendar or whatever.
I did like his. He is very composed in pretty much everything, even in the action sequences. It's like, I like his. I'm gonna fuck you up. You're gonna get fucked up, and then we're gonna be cool after this.
What did the lady say to him? I fucked your dad, or
Which part?
when
his
he's talking about
wife.
it, staying calm under pressure, and she's like, I fucked your dad, or
That little 2 minute
where
or
he's like
30-second
he like
flashback or whatever.
dumps his glass forward on her.
Yeah, it was something.
It was
like,
just
I'm
so
your
fucking
dad.
out of the blue. It's
Yeah.
like it's like a Family Guy moment with their.
Yeah, their placements of. I mean, like it just kind of a foreshadowing, or I guess pre-shadowing of events that happened, which made him this distilled person, more hardened.
It's like that absurdist humor. That's like, why was that there? Doesn't fucking matter. It's there
moves
and
it.
it's funny.
I think it moves it instead of.
It
I mean,
gives
like
you just a subtle backstory, on
Right.
why he's the way he is. Just,
you don't need.
I mean,
like
that
a
pretty
full,
much sums it up right there.
Yeah, you don't need a full explanation. You just need like a little memory or something like that. Oh, it's like.
I do wish they explored
10-second.
more of Ryan Gosling's backstory a little bit with the wife dying, and so I mean they kind of mentioned it with the fire, and
Right.
because he can't smell, which is just like the most
That was-
random.
yeah, that was just a quick,
character
like,
trait.
got hit in the head, can't smell.
can't smell, and then 45 minutes later, oh yeah, the house blew up because he couldn't smell gas. Like what? All right, MacGuffin again.
Glad we threw that in there
Right.
randomly.
I think another one of the physical comedies or comedic parts with Ryan Gosling is like when he's shaving with like the electric shaver and like it snags him. I always seem to get that
happens
same
to
thing.
me.
I'm like, fucking electric
Yes.
shavers, man. I don't know how people can do like the razors with like the.
I have to make sure mine's fully charged.
Some of them have like the vibrating razors. It's like that's on your neck though. Does it work?
It's hard, very hard.
That was a lot of blood.
I was just thinking about shaving and cutting myself.
The
Nick my balls too.
speaking of cutting yourself, the handkerchief part where he grabs his
So funny.
punches through the window.
Oh God. Oh, that's a lot of blood.
That's a lot of blood.
In the ambulance doesn't fix it. Oh my god, I
Are you
forgot
the-
about that. That's another part where I'm like, okay, what is this movie?
Are you looking for Jesus, son? I'm looking for Amelia.
I'm looking for Amelia. When he's drunk at that party too, he's like, "My name's Amelia," and then he like that whole sentence is just fun. I kind of want to make that my voicemail.
Are you me?
If you find me, let her know.
Let her know my name or something like that.
So this was supposed to be around the time when Tim Allen and Richard Lewis was doing their stand-ups on October 26th. Pretty much right after that is when Tim Allen did some time for, was it like drunken stuff?
I thought he had like
he was in
drugs or something. Like he
Possibly.
was like distributing something.
I think he went to
I
jail
like the
twice
two-
or something.
Instead of
the
looking it
Tool
up, we all
Man, Tim
have-
Allen?
Tim Allen,
Yeah, Tim Toolman,
like he got
which is I'm actually watching Home Improvement on Hulu right now as my background like go to bed show. I love that show.
Aw.
And I'm starting to wonder. Well, real quick, this is off topic, but my humor 100% comes from me watching Frasier and Home Improvement. Like my sarcastic, snappy, witty humor comes from that. I was like, no wonder I'm the way I am. But anyway,
Beautiful JTT.
JTT. What about what's his name? Brad. Forgot his name too.
You remind me of a Brad.
I mean,
a
Chad.
Brad.
Yeah.
What was his
Is
name?
that why they got the
was
the
in,
nickname Chad for douchebags? Was because his name was Brad?
Maybe. What was his name? It's driving me nuts now.
The older brother was
yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, but what's like his real name? Zachary Ty Bryan. There it is. It came to me.
You-
And the
you-
other one had a three names too. It was like Taylor Nolan.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas and
Yeah.
He didn't want to be outed for only having a 2V.
Yeah, he had to like make a
Nobody-
Taron Noah Smith.
He had
That's what it
4
was.
names.
nobody
what
wants
it
to
was.
see
Michael,
your dick, dude.
Michael Robert, Philip,
Taron Noah
Moore.
Smith, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and Zachary Ty Bryan. Like, could you get any more names
and
on
then
that
their,
show?
their fourth brother, William Michael Johnson the 14th.
Patricia Earl Hindman, R.I.P.
So one
Anyway,
of the
that
parts
was way
where
off topic. but-
Russell Crowe goes into like the porn shop to get some info on some stuff. I liked how that was kind of a throwback to another one of Shane Black's movies with a Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but there's a porno played called Bang Bang Kiss Kiss. It's kind of like a joke to to
Right.
that earlier movie.
Shane Black's best movie is one of my favorite movies with Monster Squad.
Coincidentally enough, his son Jack Kilmer plays Chet, the boy who shows them the burnt house.
That's his son?
Yeah, that's
Penis?
Jack
Oh
Kilmer's
no, the
son.
penis one is the one that rides by on a motorcycle. You want to see my dick? No
Nobody
one
wants to see your dick, dude.
$20? I already gave you $20.
Robert Downey Jr. This was an interesting role for Robert Downey Jr. as well
Go on.
as Sid Shattuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't he just the dead body?
he was just a dead body. That's it. Yeah,
Man,
but I mean, like
That's one of those like.
to get RDJ in the prime of his career.
Well, that was right after they did Iron Man 3.
And one of the
so
guys
it's
who's
like
always
owed
like
him a favor.
cameo thing.
so
yeah.
invested in like his craft and how he's going to develop a character and all this. Amazing actor, like amazing dead body.
And the way he found that dead body, like he's just lighting a cigarette and then he just happens to turn.
I think the way that they
That's
dispose
one of
of it
those
is
things.
probably one of my.
Yeah.
So they got to get rid of the dead body. And they throw it over the
Dump him over.
it just falls on a table of other people having like a dinner or a wedding or something.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
like a bunch of Asians doing something.
That's one of those points where it's like Ryan Gosling went a little too far with the acting, like is flailing trying to get the
There were a
attention.
few times
where
like
it's
where he was like,
okay.
he did that a couple of times. Like when Amelia was in the closet, he was like, ah! It's like, what the fuck are you doing? I like when he calls for the gun and he throws it to him and it goes right out the window. There's just subtle comedy to this.
Yeah.
There's just like perfect.
It
like-
really drives it along.
and I believe that all this stuff could happen
Right.
in
Right.
these situations. That was the best part of it.
That's what I like about this movie, though, is because like if you look at other movies where it's like throw me the gun and then they land, they grab it perfectly,
Yeah.
finger on the trigger and
Yeah.
everything. It's like this isn't one of those movies. This is more real life.
But this is
So it's
what
like,
happens if these things actually
Right.
happen.
So it's funnier when
Except
real
for
life
him
stuff
falling
happens.
out of the hotel
Right.
into the pool. I think that would have
where he falls out the window and's laying in the woods and he sees Amelia and he's like, "Hey, don't be scared. I'm just looking for my gun.
looking for my gun.
Oh, here it is. I found it."
So speaking of Gladiator,
To question the mermaid.
so
What were you doing while I was working?
I love it.
Russell Crowe played Maximus in Gladiator. So he was able to reprise his choreography, the same choreography he did when like he punched out the black dude at the pool. So that was like his same exact choreography.
Nice.
The three.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. That is pretty cool. Aren't you supposed to be at Jessica's? Sorry, Mr. March. My sister had a boy over. Your sister's such a slut. Yeah, I know.
So the standout scene, another standout scene,
He's got another.
yes, the killer bee scene.
Where he's sleeping?
Yeah. So the hallucination, and then like I like how they tie that back with It's like, why would you? Everything he hallucinated was not real. So at the very end, when he tries to do like a saving grace and go for like the ankle gun,
The ankle gun.
that he
He's like, "Don't you have an
hallucinated.
ankle gun?"
Did I hallucinate that?
Yeah, all the pollution in there. Bees are really driving around in cars now. I totally forgot about that scene until I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot about this scene."
So they're driving along, and then why was he hallucinating?
He fell asleep.
He fell
Okay,
asleep
he
at
fell
the wheel
asleep. Yeah,
because he's a
gotcha.
drunk.
Yes, okay.
Just take your hands off. It drives itself.
When did that start
Oh,
doing?
wow.
It's come standard now.
Oh, wow.
Or the subtle back away when like the hitman's taking out the bodyguards and stuff, and they're like, nope.
Oh yeah, when they get off the elevator, and then
You
they're
see
on
the one
elevator,
fly
and
through
one
the
flies
window.
through the window.
Right.
And then Amelia, where did she come from? What story did she come from when she dropped on the car?
Right? Shoots him and then just fucking dies.
Shoots him. Well, she shoots. By the way, how many windshields were damaged in this movie?
All of them.
All.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Safe Light was on contract for that movie. They were so happy.
Her death is actually, I thought that was pretty funny. Like, she's avoided all these scenes, and then like she just walks up to this car and gets shot, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you blink, you literally miss that. You're like, oh shit, when did she die? No, she's walked up to the car.
I think the other chick had a very unclimactic death when she slipped on the coffee and just banged her
yeah.
head and cracked her head.
That's very Shane Blacky too.
Yeah. It's like when you think it's
actually it's more. I think of. Have you guys seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
no.
Yes.
No, like the end things where just like everything's falling apart for
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's a great scene, but you haven't seen that movie?
I haven't.
It's a
I've been trying
fantastic-
to
It's a good
check
movie.
it out.
It's one of my
should've.
favorites of Tarantino, for sure. It's long.
I think every time you bring it up, it just puts it back on my mental burner.
A lot of people don't like it just because they expected it to be a certain way, and Tarantino said, "Fuck you, I'm gonna have it this way."
It's
That's
his
what I
alt
like about
history.
Tarantino.
Tarantino does alt history all the time.
And that's what I also don't like about critics is because
Flamethrower, though.
it's like, well, that's art. You're trying to change the art. It's like
Yeah.
he wants to see it this way. Most of it is true in this fashion, although it kind of pokes fun of like Bruce Lee in that one scene or whatever. It's like Bruce Lee did have a bit of an ego, but he was still one of the people
And
I
his
loved
family
growing up,
loved
so.
that scene.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, it's fine. Like,
He was allowed to have an ego because he was that fucking
yeah, he
good.
was-
Speaking of dragon, in this movie, that dragon at the gateway that wasn't there until 2001.
Where?
When they're in the Chinatown area.
yeah, I'm sure there's some.
Like there's a lot of stuff that wasn't made in there. So like Pac-Man 911 wasn't even an operating phone number until afterwards.
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
I forget.
What
I think
else?
that was like in the 90s or a lot of stuff. It had a Warner Bros. Whatever.
The Warner Brothers logo at the beginning was the 70s version. Apparently, this takes place in 1977. I thought it was a little earlier than that, but I don't know. Fucking Chet. Jack,
What
I'm
else?
fucking your dad. That's what it was.
Jack, fucking your dad. What?
What? Spits water.
And
Fucking
stuff.
over, man. That's
You
what
got
dogs
Nixon
do.
in the pool.
The Chets of the world, and that fucking kid.
Oh, that part where, all right, in one of the bigger action scenes, this is another thing that I didn't, like where he threw the grenade and there's a chick going around the car and then the grenade exploded. I'm like, if that chick was right there, she would have exploded. But
I thought she was gonna explode. If I'm honest, this place reeks of marijuana. They're smoking it. I can't smell. What? I got hit in the head a while back.
there was something, I did like the tie up at the very end with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. Because both of their names, Crow and Gosling, are name of birds. And then they do like a little toast. And they're like, to the birds. And they toast themselves.
I thought that was just in reference to when he was staring at those birds at that one.
It might have been. But it's also to them.
I mean, it's double entendre. Is that the word I'm looking for?
One of my favorite lines in this movie, and Justin can relate. I've heard him say this to his Cantonese Cantonese wife before.
We'll go with it.
Yeah. Marriage is buying a house for someone you hate.
Yeah.
Well,
What was that one part? It was like something, and you have no balls or whatever. He's like, marriage? Or something like that. Or having your balls
Yeah,
cut
where they're
off
trying
or
to figure
whatever.
out and
at
he's
the
like-
hotel.
They get in the elevator. He's like eunuch. That's what it's called when we get your balls cut off.
No, he
a
goes,
eunuch.
Munich. And he goes, Munich's a
City in Germany.
All right, which one of you cock and balls wants to make $20? That
Another-
scene was kind of weird to me when they were doing the protest, and Russell Crowe's like, "What about the gas mask? Did that not save you?" Because I like making fun of most protesters just go to things and don't really have a plan agenda. They're like, what are we doing? Like,
And when they are questioned, they're like, because
the earth.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that one.
I forgot about that scene too. Yeah.
What?
Like, ow, dead
Lonnie
bodies
found
don't
another
say
quote,
I
that.
found another great quote with the kid on the bike again. No, his name was Sid. Sid Hatrack. Yeah. Nobody's name is
Name's Sid.
Hatrack. Whatever. Tried to get a job. I offered to show my dick because I got a big dick.
You guys want to see my dick? No one wants to see your dick, dude. I think we said that like 3 times.
Russell Crowe's character was well known. I'm trying to remember this because in the newspaper he was titled the real life tough guy, Jackson Healy. I forget exactly how he got his fame with
Wait, what? Sorry.
Jackson Healy. He was in the newspaper or the tabloids or whatever. He was known as
Yeah.
how did he get his fame? I can't recall that.
From the diner? Is that what you're talking about? When he stopped the guy with the shotgun in the diner?
Was that it? Well, that's what they say. But I mean, that's pretty much pulled. That the story is directly out of Pulp Fiction.
Oh, is it?
Well,
Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah.
I don't know if he was making that up or if that's something that is supposed to actually happen due to his character.
Maybe
but
they're trying to be in the same universe. The
It looks like it.
Tarantino-verse.
All right. Here's that line we were trying to figure out earlier. Hi, I'm Amelia. She's about and gestures to the height.
Yes.
Answers to, looks up to topless mermaids who are swimming by. The Call of the Wild. Just kidding. I forgot her name. But you know, if you just see and let me know and tell me my name.
I want that to be my voice.
And then he walks away.
one of the
I don't
parts
know. I just
where
work here. That's why we're asking.
one of the parts that I felt kind of had a little bit of like meaning or so is like when Russell Crowe. Okay, first off, he forgets his brass knuckles. It seems as though he usually carries it in like his coat pocket. I used to carry brass knuckles, and they are heavy. They got some
Yeah.
weight to them.
Right.
It's like if this is your day-to-day job, and you know you don't have them on, like you would know.
Yeah,
it
you
would
would
feel.
notice, for sure.
It's a different pep to your step or so. When he finally gets there, like he checks for it, and like it kind of showcases that his defenses are down, but then he still kind of dominates and has to weaken up to him. But yeah.
Did you actually witness him getting in the elevator? No, I was told by an old wise Indian. Of course I fucking witnessed it. I love jokes like that because I feel like that's how I talk to most of you guys.
Yeah. And it hurts.
I'm sorry to the birds.
Now, this movie on a $50 million budget, surprisingly, is, you know, as well known as both these actors are and as good as this movie was, surprisingly only grossed 62.7 million.
Yeah, it wasn't super popular coming out. It's become more popular word of mouth. Like even I was looking at reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Speaking of the Rotten Tomatoes score, critics gave it a 91% and the viewers gave it a 79. So pretty close to what we gave it.
Right. IMDb gave it a 7.3
Nice.
upon the time of.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually had this as an 8 now that I look at it. But I just rewatched it, so now it's an 8.5. But anyway, a lot of the reviews are from recent. I know Netflix pimped this out. That's why I was like, oh shit, I have this movie. Like, I want to watch it. Because Netflix is like, new to Netflix, you know, top 10 movies in the whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are liking it. And people are like, hey, have you seen this movie? And I'm like, yeah, so I recommend it. My friend Rob, we did that. He's like, that movie was a riot, dude. I don't know. I felt like you said, it only raised that much money, and I was like, I want more eyes on this. You know, I feel like that's the point of what we should be doing here with these movie reviews is get more eyes on movies that we like personally,
Right.
not Prey. And
Prey was awesome.
let's see, did we?
It was a BBT rating of 10.
for you.
And for a summer,
No, to each their own. And I'm glad that you liked it for sure, especially you being
Thank you for caring about
a
my
nerd about the what were they called?
Yautja.
The Yautja, that's right. But this is different than Prey.
This is
It's better.
I feel like this isn't one of those you probably have to give it a few watches or so. Like I don't think it solidifies like
This movie or Prey?
this movie.
Okay.
Watching it is hilarious. Like
Right.
it is you do go for a ride. It does kind
Yeah.
of it holds my attention the entire time. I don't think there's really much
Prey has a 93 and a 73, by the way.
the 93
So
was
we are in the minority.
the 93 was the people who fell asleep in the theater, right?
And they woke up at the end, they're like, oh, it was cool.
It's over. Woo!
No, just kidding. Go ahead. What your point you were making?
I forgot.
I knew it. I was like, we just derailed Justin. You said it was funny and multiple watching.
Oh yeah, yeah. It held my attention, but I feel like it is one of those things that I have to try to remember. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that is an awesome movie. Like, I got an 8.5 for this one, and it came back. Okay.
Can I have the best of the worst this week?
Yeah.
Well, let's both. I mean, I have one too as well.
Mine's really not the worst. Like, mine's a 2 out of 10. I read a lot of 1 out of 10s that were shitting on it, but this 2 out of 10 review, it just speaks to me. Like, it speaks volumes to me.
Go for it.
Go for it.
2 out of 10. Title is I Watched It.
I watched it. Well,
Article says,
halfway.
and 3 out of 3 people found this helpful. Keep that in mind.
only 3.
Only 3. Article says, reminds me a bit of a Ford Fairlane. Just a vibe. No spoilers. Had a couple funny bits. That's it.
That's it.
And I love it because a Ford Fairlane was one of my first cars.
Oh.
And it was the biggest piece of shit I've ever drove.
So
in
that
my
review
life.
hit you personal there. A lot of these reviews are pretty good though. 8 out of 10. 9
yeah,
out of 10,
ton
8
of,
out of 10, 9
ton
out
of
of 10,
6 pluses.
9.
Here's my favorite, least favorite was titled "Not Fit for Human Consumption." This is by Jim KU.
He gets
20.
points just for that.
Yeah. So it says 1 is higher than I would give it. Why 2 talented actors would lower themselves to be part of trash like this is beyond me. It probably boils down to the parts they played. Anything for a buck. If there is any redeeming quality to this picture, is that we had the opportunity to walk out and took it. The sad part is that I actually paid to see it. It was humorless, it was vulgar, it was profane, it was poorly acted, it was terrible storyline. Russell Crowe looked like a blimp. I feel sorry for the young actress who had to endure.
Wait for this movie.
Yeah.
And he never lost it, by the way.
Feel sorry for the young actress who had to endure being a part of this low life movie. I guess that's what floats the entertainment today. The thing is like he's saying, or she, Jim could be a girl's name too. It was humorless, vulgar, profane. I find all those to be humorful. Like, I think vulgar humor is
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
I mean,
Have
that,
you
it
heard
could
this
be to a
podcast?
point, but
Right. This guy gets points for me just because of the title of his review. He said a raucous buddy comedy and stuff.
Don't say and stuff.
Don't say and stuff.
I think he was probably putting that
He did that on purpose.
faux show.
I saw this in theaters. I think, if I remember right, I saw it for my birthday. Let me see when this came out.
I was also surprised that
May
Ryan
20th,
Gosling,
yeah. So my birthday's the 16th. We saw it the weekend after my birthday. It was like a bunch of us went. And I said, let's go see a movie for John's birthday.
There was a stunt that Ryan Gosling did where he gets hit onto the front of the car, and the way that his ankle landed, it really looked like he broke his ankle. And I'm surprised he did not suffer an injury for that. I'm like, that looks bad.
I feel like I do that all the time. I like step awkwardly, or like my foot fell asleep the other day and I went to stand and I fell and I heard a pop, and I was, for 20 minutes I laid on the ground because I was scared. I thought I broke something.
You didn't even get able to wipe your butt or anything, huh?
We're getting to that age now where it's like you have to do a full systems recheck when you fall. Hey, fuckface, look
Hey,
who
what's up?
finally made it.
Fuckface is here.
He is part of this podcast.
Podcast.
But yeah, when you hit the ground or do something, like you have to do that full body systems
yeah.
recheck to be like
Like,
all
slowly
right,
get
I can
up,
move
like-
my neck, my fingers work, I have feeling.
I found myself making more and more noises every time I moved too. Like,
I hear you make a lot more noises when I move on top of you too.
oh my. You came in at a great time, Mr. Lubash. Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a porno involved in this movie. Real quick, what would you guys change? We'll start with Justin.
I don't know that I would change much. I mean, like again, for being more of the action guy in the room, I enjoyed the amount of action there was.
Wasn't enough Asians in it.
There probably wasn't. And I did want to see more of the first chick we saw.
Yes, Misty Mountains.
Mountains.
Well, follow her Instagram because she's fucking literally drop dead gorgeous. Like, she is absolutely.
What more do you need to see? She's not going to show Bush.
I mean, that's fair. She is naked in this movie.
I just liked it for the articles. So that's all.
What about you, Lonnie? What would you change? Anything in this one?
You know, I would have taken those couple moments that Ryan Gosling went a little too far and maybe toned it back a little bit. I think he worked so good on atmosphere and timing that if you would have just toned those couple little elements back where you just pushed it a little too far, I think would have just stepped that up, probably would have stepped me up to an 8. I thought Russell Crowe was great. I thought the Holly character was great for her age at the time.
She does steal scenes for
She
sure.
does steal scenes. But yeah, just take those couple overacted moments from Ryan Gosling out of there. That's all I'd
Tweak
change.
those.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like unrealistic things that happen in this movie that is like, what the fuck? Like the shootout right in front of his house and like a little
I know, and like
cul-de-sac, and,
nobody, yeah.
That
like,
car
okay.
driving to the house and
That
not waking
reminds
up the
me
parents.
of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like it's the same kind of neighborhood,
Right.
That happens at
Well,
the end.
and granted, that's in the
Same
Hollywood
time frame,
Hills,
yeah.
but that, people get murdered and beat up all the time, and those people are like, fuck that, I ain't going outside.
I mean, I would.
Well, I guess that was in Detroit as well.
I'm not
so
going outside ever anymore. It
Shootouts
didn't interfere in anything.
Shootouts happen all the time in Detroit, and people are like, fuck that, I'm white,
In
I'm not going
Chicago. There's one
outside.
happening as we speak.
Jeremy, since you haven't seen anything, do you want to lower our score? Oh, he's not plugged in.
He's not plugged in yet. What you guys think about Keith David's character, the black guy? I like when he gets his ass kicked. He's like, "I'm gonna move to Detroit or whatever." Or no, what did he say? I think he just says Michigan or whatever. And then he shows up at the end. I think that was also kind of a random
Yeah.
kind of thing. And also, would that gun fire after being in that hot tub?
No, absolutely not. No, it wouldn't.
I don't
that
think it
fire
was.
and pin would be so
it
fucked
was,
up.
It was a revolver.
It was
for fuck's
submerged
sake.
for like a solid 2 minutes.
I fired
least.
firearms in water.
And that's an edited version.
I've shot lots of gun. I've shot my love gun in water before, and
What
it
the
doesn't
fuck
work.
did you just say?
Still
Your
not a straight
love
shot.
gun.
Yeah.
Done with this podcast after that comment.
Good movie, good choice. I wanted to hate it, but I couldn't hate it.
Awesome.
The first 5 minutes that I saw were great, and then I fell asleep. I seriously, I've had no time.
Welcome,
to do
Jeremy. He's
anything.
plugged in now. In case you guys didn't know, he just popped up out of nowhere.
His review is pretty much your review of Prey. It's like, I got 5 minutes in and had to stop and go masturbate.
No, I started watching it at like midnight 30.
I did
like
when
that
I was
after a long
rewatching
day,
it
and
yesterday. I had to stop and do it today.
I fell asleep. I could fall asleep right now, to be honest with you, but
Same. I've been up since.
now I'm looking
5:30.
across at Justin in his short shorts, and I'm awake.
Who wears short shorts? I wear short shorts.
Well, now that you're here and we're wrapping up here, you can tell us what next movie podcast is.
Okay, I sound really muffled for whatever reason in my headphones.
You sound fine in mine.
It sounds
Yeah, you
weird.
sound good in ours.
So
Could
sound
be
good to
Lonnie
me.
last time.
this should
My-
be a
Mo-
surprise to everybody what I'm going to pick here. I did watch it. I'm going to watch it again.
I've never seen it, so I'm actually kind of excited.
I'm still uncertain as to how I feel about it. We'll see
Oh.
after the second time. But we're going to be watching 2022's The Munsters, Rob Zombie's
You
version.
changed it. You son of a bitch.
I did. Yeah. What did you think I was going to say?
Steel Magnolias.
Oh, yeah. No.
Are we not watching?
No, we were gonna watch the Monsters the whole time. I just wanted to fuck with you
It's
guys.
The Munsters. Yeah.
Well, there, you get your Halloween one a month late.
Wait, what were... Because I thought you knew it was The Munsters. What did you say
told
before?
Me Steel Magnolias.
I say Steel Magnolias like a million times.
I don't know if you're ever serious. I honestly I'm waiting for Titanic.
I feel
too.
like
They're like, what do we watch? What's Jeremy picking? I'm like, oh, Steel Magnolia. And John's like, oh, cool. I've never seen it before. I'm like, what the fuck?
got excited. No, less excited.
I feel
So I'm looking up shit on Steel Magnolia.
I mean,
I'm like, I guess we're going through it.
you can't
This
do
is
this
basically
with
the-
my emotions, Jeremy.
This
You
is
didn't
gonna
know it
be
was
the
Steel-
only reason
I thought it
watched
was.
that movie because I was not. Gonna
We've
watch
taken our relationship to the next level already.
Hey, I
We
just-
shared a room together recently. I thought we were.
We did.
Let's talk
and
about that on the next
You,
podcast.
me, and Rob Deirdrick.
Whew.
Do
What's
it.
that chick there?
Oh my god.
Do it, Justin. Do your laugh.
I can't. Yeah, she's just really annoying.
Just
Welcome
half-
back to Ridiculousness. I'm Rob Deirdrick,
she
and I
just-
just rub my hands
No, her laugh's
together.
worse.
Yeah.
Her laugh is actually worse than that. We call this segment "Doing Our Time."
And then the guy that rewinds it and stuff.
Black guy?
Yeah.
Generic black
you
guy
can't.
number
You
2.
can't say that on television.
I've said black guy 3 times in this podcast.
He has. He said in
Justin has been on that today. The first time he did it, I lost it.
She can't say that, dude. That's one of the 8 words that you're not able to say.
That was probably the best thing Joe's ever done on this on the soundboard.
He did it on one earlier too. That was really
Silence.
Oh man.
Silencio.
Shit. Okay.
Anyway,
All right.
so yeah, we're gonna watch The Munsters. If you wanna watch that along with us and send us a review, go ahead. But for now, we're gonna say goodbye so we can go take a urine break. And welcome Jeremy back.
We got to
Thanks
give him
for
his
joining
happy
us.
birthday golden shower.
Yes.
We'll do that.
I hope you
Birthday
saved up.
Golden shower.
Tune in next week for our Halloween bracket.
Yeah.
That'll be Halloween.
Yeah.
We're also going to be discussing Watch Mojo's top 20 horror movies of all time and shitting all over it. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
spoiler alert.
And we also are going to congratulate Art the Clown for winning the bracket.
For the 3rd year in a row. I'm gonna dive into the world of SCPs. If you guys don't know what those are, you're gonna learn.
I just cleared 2 of those up.
Did you?
Not S. Oh, okay. I misunderstood what you
September.
I don't have enough clown paint for that.
said. Anyway, if you are still listening, good for you. For Jeremy, Lonnie, Justin, and myself,
Go
stay
fuck yourself.
Stay golden, pony boy. See ya next time.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.